Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the REBOR Club Selection Clover, the Hatchling Stegosaurus 1000 Worldwide Limited Edition Hatchling Dinosaur. So previously we looked at Lock, Stock, and Barrel from REBOR's Club Selection line, and I thought it was pretty cool. Very inaccurate as far as baby raptor dinosaurs go, but it was cute nonetheless. But I didn't buy any of the others until Clover came along, and well, Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, and I found this to be very cute in the photos that I had seen. And well, here she is. Packaging is very similar to what we've seen in the past from REBOR. Has that nice matte black to it with some gold elements, and at the back you can see the rest of the other REBOR Club Collections catalog dinosaurs. Overall, it's a pretty nice looking box. Seems to be a little bit smaller than Lock, Stock, and Barrel. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and spend a few minutes, get this unboxed, and we'll take a closer look at Clover. Alright, you guys, now here's Clover out of the box, and I gotta say, I really like this. Initially, I was a little bit on the fence, for the reason being that I wasn't too sure how those ferns were gonna play out, and when you take them out of the box, the dinosaur is very nicely securely packed in there, but the ferns themselves are kind of crumpled up, so I was kind of hoping I'd be able to reposition them. I can't, but they still look very good, kind of naturalistic in fact. And I love how the ferns are different colors. It's very, very nice. But yes, no matter how you position this, this is a really detailed, very nice looking hatchling baby dinosaur. And again, Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. So I didn't want to miss the opportunity to pick her up. And I don't know if Clover's a boy or a girl. I'm going to go with girl because, I don't know, it just seems right to me for some reason. But she does look very nice. She fits very securely into her base. No wobbliness. Seems pretty solid. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is that I noticed that Clover is a little bit lightweight compared to Lock, Stock, and Barrel. She just has a very light, I mean, she's not light, there's still some heft here, but she feels a lot lighter than the baby raptor triplets did. Looking up close, you can see that there's a lot of very nicely, meticulously sculpted detail in there. And that's one of the things about REBOR is that they're truly hard to beat when it comes to their sheer level of detail. Now, authenticity is an entirely different issue. Accuracy is an entirely different issue altogether, but just for their sheer shelf presence, I mean, it's really hard to beat a lot of the stuff that REBOR does. Clover's a green color. It's a very pure green, and at the back you can see that her spikes are red, and there's also this sort of darker green striping there. Around her eyes you can see that there's kind of this white sort of paint, same as on her belly and underneath her forearms right there. Her beak is also sort of this grayish sort of color and looks very much like a bird's beak. It looks very realistic. But I also really like that there's this sheen to her skin. Like if I spin it around, you can see it kind of glimmering a little bit. That's really nice and really bumps up the realistic factor of this dino. And one thing that I do want to critique a little bit though, and I don't know, I'm not an expert, so I don't know if this would be even an issue, is that there's kind of a lack of wrinkles and creases here at the elbows. I don't know if, since she's a baby and hasn't really flexed her muscles yet, maybe that's supposed to be the case, but it just kind of seems like there's a little bit lacking right there. Like I kind of expect to see some wrinkles or, you know, some creases there, but maybe she just hasn't had time to formulate them yet. The rest of the eggshell looks really, really good, and this isn't anything surprising because with Lock, Stock, and Barrel, the eggshells looked really great, and this being a herbivore eggshell, you know, being a round eggshell like this, it looks really nice. It looks very naturalistic. I like all of these little cracks and creases in here, and it just looks really good. The coloration, I mean, it's a very beige sort of color, but you can see there's a lot of great texturing in here, including all these fracture lines here from her hatching out of her shell. There's a couple pieces that are glued in place back there. All in all, she looks really, really good and super cute. Now, as for the base itself, you can see that it's basically this faux wood sort of base on the very bottom. There's some information down here. It says REBOR Clover, the Hatchling Stegosaurus, limited edition number 152 out of 1000, REBOR 2017. And the dirt right here, it looks kind of like mud or soil. It looks very much like potted soil, actually. It's very nicely painted. You can see that it's not just one color, it's multi-tones of blacks and grays to it. And again, the signature look to this particular hatchling dinosaur is these ferns that stick out of the back. And again, I got to hand it to REBOR for the execution because they do look very naturalistic, and they even have a pretty realistic feel, quite interestingly. And this multi sort of tone look to some of the ferns where they have more of this reddish color, it really does wonders for this in the realism department. You can see that they are secured in place by being glued at the back of the base. And what's also interesting is that you can sort of pose them. It seems like they have these bendable wires inside the ferns there at the bottom. You can't do it here at the top since these are just, it's very soft up there, but you can sort of bend them down here lower on the ferns, which is pretty cool because you can kind of set it up to your liking when you're posing Clover on your shelf. On the side, REBOR also gives you a baggie that has a couple little items in it. And you get 2 pieces of eggshell, which are very nicely detailed, very nicely colored. Now, as to where to stick these little pieces of eggshell, well, you can put them wherever you want. If we want to put a little piece right there on her head, we can do that. And this other little piece, we'll just place it in there. And of course, the finishing touch, the Clover itself, which looks really nice. And that simply goes into her mouth, just like that. Her beak holds it in place. Beautiful. And here's a comparison of Clover with Lock, Stock, and Barrel, the Velociraptor triplets. And you can see that Clover sits up a little bit higher than the Raptors do. However, the Raptors' base has a larger diameter and is overall quite a bit heavier than what you get with Clover. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the REBOR Club Selection Clover, the baby hatchling Stegosaurus. Overall, you guys, I really do like this. I gotta say that I do like it quite a bit more than I did Lock, Stock, and Barrel, even though I was pretty happy with that piece, and I still think it makes a pretty nice display piece. This just feels a lot more geared towards somebody like me who appreciates the realism, the accuracy, and also the cuteness factor, because that's really hard to beat in this case. But the execution is great. I know this is going to be a fantastic display piece on my REBOR shelf. I really love the sculpt and all of the level of detail and texture that went into creating Clover. She looks very realistic. The sheen that she has to her skin gives off a very nice glimmer and helps in the realism department. The little plates are cute. Nice red color. The eggshell looks very realistic. It looks very much as you would expect from REBOR, and the base is very nice. It secures the eggshell on it very nicely. I feel less concerned about Clover falling off of her base than I did the Raptors. The ferns sticking out at the back of the shell, that's just fantastic. I actually really love the way that turned out. I just hope that they hold over the years and don't warp, don't get nasty or anything. Hopefully they just maintain exactly as they are now. And of course the little finishing touches of the extra eggshells and the Clover for her mouth. I mean, that's just fun. Come on, that's just a lot of fun. I do wonder why she is a little bit lighter in weight than the Raptors were. I don't know if there was some sort of manufacturing reason for that or cost reasons or what. But in any case, she looks great. She seems pretty solid. And the whole package here, I believe I paid around $60 for her. And I think she was pretty well worth it. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, do give us a like, do subscribe, let me know your own thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends, bye-bye.